Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit.
Okay, sisters and brothers, time for the first guest on this week's Live from the Heartland for the week of April 25th. And I asked Matt Wechsler to come on. I've just learned about him. He is the manager of the Wild Onion Co-op, which is only a few blocks away from where I sit. And, as a former founder and director of the Heartland Cafe, I had considerable interest in food, organic food, food co-ops, that kind of thing. And for a number of years up here in Rogers Park, there was a campaign going on to start the Wild Onion Co-op. And it's really happening now. It's 7007 North Clark, right at the corner of Clark and Lunt, right near Taqueria Hernandez. And it's a good location, and it's a really nice store. So good morning to you, Matt.
Well, thanks. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
How about filling us in a little bit on how this new food co-op came into being?
Yeah, well, I mean, Heartland was a staple of the Rogers Park community. I remember living in the city and going to Heartland Cafe and shopping there. And I think people loved the independently owned, organic focus, focus on local products. And certainly when Heartland had to close, that was sad. I think what the community was looking for was a chance to take the grocery matters into their own hands. Certainly what we see at large is large conglomerates, large monopolies kind of controlling the grocery space, really controlling the whole food industry. And so a co-op is an opportunity for a community to determine their own grocery interests and to have that store reflect what they're wanting. So, this was really started by Mary Meyer. She was the first owner back in 2014, and her and a group of friends in a living room discussed it all, and it's started very slowly. That's for sure. I was owner 234. I joined in 2017 or 18, I can't remember. And I sat on the board for a couple of years from 2018 to 2020. And the co-op was growing at that point in time. I helped rebrand the co-op from Rogers Park Food Co-op to the Wild Onion Market. The whole idea was we wanted to expand beyond Rogers Park and into the other communities as well. And also the term co-op is just not, it's kind of a foreign word in Chicago. It's not so foreign in, cities like Minneapolis, where there's tons and tons of co-ops, but in the city of Chicago, there's not that many. So the idea of it being a market is that it's open to everyone, right? So the co-op continued to grow during COVID tremendously in terms of its owner base. And then a capital campaign was run to open the store, and a great deal of money was raised. They found the location, which I love the size of the store, only being about 5,000 square feet. And here we are. We have primarily organic products at the store. We have a good deal of local products as well. And really, it's the values and mission of the store to be part of a resilient local food system.
Matt, when you say local products, what are you talking about? I know that you get a lot of stuff, I assume you do, from UNFI, United Foods and
Sure. Hard not to. Hard Not UNFI being a very large distributor of organic products. We get, the middle aisles are filled with stuff from UNFI for the most part, but we do have a decent amount of local products. Certainly, some of the favorites are Phoenix bean, tofu that we have. We have products from Dilly Dally Provisions. We have tons of produce options. We have Gray Farms Organics greens that are coming in tomorrow. A lot of our root vegetables currently still have some local varieties. this being spring, we're really starting to see a lot of the seasonal products coming in from our farmers. We have Jake's Country Meats. Really, the biggest section where we feature local is our eggs. We have Finn's Ranch eggs, and we have eggs from about 4 or 5 other Central Illinois providers. These are all smaller farms that are not piling their chickens in large confined buildings, but having outdoor space for all their chickens. And you can crack those yolks and see a nice orangish hue to them. So I highly recommend that. We also have Publican quality bread, amazing sourdough breads that's baked in the West Loop area. And there's a number of, I'm leaving out a ton of other vendors, but you can go to our website and see a lot of our other vendors there.
No, that's a lot of good information. I remember you mentioned a tofu outfit. There used to be a great tofu place around the corner from where you are now called Moo Tofu.
Oh, yeah.
For years, now I think I see there's something going on there with people in line to get food, which is an issue in our community and beyond. Yeah. Let me ask another question related to big distributors like UNFI, which I watched them evolve from North Farm, and we had been involved with the Greater Illinois People's Co-op, and then we weren't so welcome because we were not a co-op; we were a business at the Heartland. But we really we like co-ops, and I think I was influenced early on by being in Minneapolis and just seeing a number of co-ops back in the day. What other distributors are there that carry, sort of organic and health-oriented products other than UNFI? Are there any, or are they a big conglomerate these days?
So there's KeHE. KeHE carries a good deal. There's Co-op Partners, and we can get products from KeHE, but it comes down to minimum orders, and so. Right now, we're not at a point where we can meet the minimum order for KeHE and do our Unify order at the same time. Yeah. So, but I can very easily see us like going, adding KeHE to what we do and adding Co-op Partners to what we do. Co-op Partners comes from that Minneapolis area, so they do send some trucks down this way. And then there's kind of specialty distributors like Fortune and Fish. We get a decent amount from Fortune. You're going to see some higher end brands of cheeses and meats and maybe some like smoked fishes and things like that coming from there, and other higher end cheese brands and stuff. And then we do get a decent amount of organic produce still from Indianapolis Fruit Company. So we get a good amount from them too.
I used to, back in the Heartland Cafe days, I would drive one of the pickup trucks, I think the Golden truck, which was an old 90 Dodge. I'd go up to the farmer's market in Evanston till the end of the morning, and I developed a good relationship with a number of farmers, and I would just come back with a truckload of tomatoes and peppers and squash, and it was pretty wonderful.
That's the way to do it, yeah.
What have been the challenges? I know I talked to a young fellow who worked there as he passed by one day, and I know things were a little bit tight and people were encouraging people to buy more. You came on the scene about the same time that we had COVID, and then we've had some economic challenges. How are things working out financially over there? Or are you still feeling the squeeze of a new business trying to get through the first period of time?
Yeah, I mean, I think with a new business, there's always challenges, right? I think the first challenge is the store was built out with a lot of used equipment. Used equipment, you save a lot of money in used equipment, but you also put your products in jeopardy in terms of whether or not you're going to have equipment failures. So we've unfortunately had quite a few refrigeration failures. Some of them due to bad construction. Some of them, they're just old pieces of equipment. And so we are constantly having, people come in repairing the coolers. A week or two ago, we lost the dairy cooler just for a day, but it was enough to lose $5,000 of products. And so that was difficult. Some of the other challenges, I think the market study and the pro forma, which was done in order to kind of estimate what the sales would be in the first couple of months, I don't think it was very realistic. And if I was not the GM at that point in time, I wasn't the GM when the store opened, but looking at the numbers that it was saying the store was going to do, it just didn't really make sense. But the store was set up to try to do those numbers and barely did half of them. And so in the first couple months, you just saw a lot of product spoilage. You didn't see the sales being where they were. You saw overstaffing and staff that was promised hours that they then could not fulfill, all based on this market study. And so I don't take market studies to be worth all that much at this point in time. And then I think the third struggle is really the location. While it's a highly convenient location, the ownership of Wild Onion is really spread out between various communities. It's not just 60626. So there's a decent amount of Evanston people. There's a decent amount of 60645 people. There's people farther south into the city. And it was a lot of the people who gave money to the co-op gave it on the idea that the mission and value is about being part of a resilient food system. It's not about being an everyday low price grocery, but the location itself really requires us to have everyday low price items as well, because the immediate area is seeking deals and seeking low price on groceries. So we're trying to be a store for everyone. We're trying to be a store for those who are going to shop on a budget and for those who are looking for higher end products that support a local resilient food system.
What just came into my head was with these tariffs that the orange guy is imposing, I'm wondering if that will affect you in any way. I mean, I'm wondering where organic avocados, are they going to come from Mexico or California?
I mean, they're already pretty pricey. There was somebody who came in the store. I was at the store earlier, and somebody came in the store and said that the avocados are too pricey. And maybe we should sell them just at cost at this point in time, just because of it. But when I was at a GM meeting for co-ops, co-ops across the country, all these GMs met in DC 2 weeks ago, and with the tariffs and everything, they said your pricing is going to change weekly at this point in time. Pricing would typically change monthly. Now they're going to get down to a point where the pricing is going to change every other week or weekly, because the fallback or the fallout from the tariffs themselves is just going to have that large of an impact. So hopefully we're able to stay on top of pricing everything accordingly, but I'd hope we don't have to raise prices, because we don't want people to perceive us as an overpriced grocery store.
It's a rough issue, I know, because in the old days, co-ops, you not only had healthier food than other places, but they were cheaper. What's the difference now that changed that?
Conglomerates, right? That's what I'd say is the ability for larger companies to control buying habits, to control the brands that are featured, and to control all the ancillary costs that are associated with it. There's also just a massive amount of regulations that need to be met that are a bottleneck for small producers. So I would love to see us, being able to acquire local produce at a lower rate, but a rate that still allows those farmers who are growing it to make a living. So right now the cost for farmers is high. And so the cost for us buying their products is high. Like the cost of eggs, our wholesale cost of eggs has gone up in a full $1 just in the last 3 months or 4 months since the beginning of the year. Like a full $1 on the wholesale cost of eggs is a massive increase. It's like a 20% increase in cost. So, we can't afford that on all of our products. So hopefully we won't see too much more of that. but it's hard to say.
Do you see things improving in terms of more people coming in as you've been there a little bit longer?
Yeah, the month of March was an amazing month for sales. Our daily average was 12% higher than in February. Overall, we did 24% more business in March than we did in February. And we're continuing to see higher sales volume throughout April. And so our sales volume is getting to be a good point. I don't think we need to do too much more business. March actually was a nearly break-even month for us, which is a drastic change from the months before that. So, we are getting our footing underneath us, and we do have ideas on adding prepared foods before the end of the year, which will hopefully bring in more business and customers looking for something different.
What's the status of co-ops, whatever you call them, but customer-owned, people-owned outfits in the city beyond Wild Onion?
Yeah, well, I think the United Nations declared 2025 the year of the cooperatives. So it's getting to be a big thing, and in the city of Chicago, it's ever growing. There's obviously Dill Pickle that's been established in Logan Square. There's Chicago Market that's attempting to establish in Uptown. They have the go ahead for their build out now, and so it's hard to say exactly when they're going to open. And then there's a new, I think it's called Prairie Foods Co-op in Lombard. It's not in the city of Chicago, but within the Chicagoland area. So certainly we're not, we don't have the 20,000 square foot or 40,000 square foot co-op stores that you would see in Minneapolis or other cities, but at least it's starting to become something here in the city of Chicago. And hopefully the idea of a co-op can become more of a staple, more of a household name.
Well, Matt, this is good. I'm going to ask you one last question. How about telling us how you got involved in the organic food movement?
Oh, sure. So I had an epiphany moment when I visited a farmer's market for the first time in 2012, and it was just a rabbit hole. I was a scratch cook at the time, but I had so much faith in my grocery system, and that just kind of tore a hole in my trust in industrial grocery. And I recognized at the farmer's market seasonality and flavor, and I never looked back. And it's had a massive positive impact on my health. And I've gotten to know the people who provide the food for me, and it's nourishing mind for my mind and also for my body. So I got involved, and I've actually done 3 documentary films about food and food production, and that's how I got to know the topic more. And then I opened a grocery store in Evanston during COVID, and so I got my feet wet during that. So yeah, I've been involved for a good 13 or so years. I really love it.
You're also a burgeoning filmmaker.
That's right. So
that's good. Well, I'm really glad you shared all this information. Everyone should know that the Wild Onion is at 7007 North Clark. That's right at lunch. They're on the northeast side. There's a lot of parking there. And it's really a wonderful little store. I, too, am a member, not as long as you've been, but I will be by, and I will see you real soon. Because I like the co-op movement. I like good, healthy, wholesome food. We always said wholesome food for the mind and body. And I appreciate you coming on.